It is Hanok Young and Hak Sameach this afternoon for you, morning for me.
Well, yeah, we're kind of in between Chagim, in between
Yeah,
holidays now.
yeah.
Since we had a Rosh Hashanah and of course Yom Kippur coming up Sunday night,
Hmm.
and I thought it might be helpful or interesting to share with some of us a couple of the things that happen here on Rosh Hashanah that I think are very interesting and unique.
Okay, good. Go for it.
Um, First, firstly, the one of the main mitzvot of Rosh Hashanah is to listen to the shofar,
Yeah.
and there's a certain number of sounds that have to be, it's not just grabbing it and randomly blowing it. This is the way we do it. Now, of course, shofar is okay. I have to interject a second. So the other day I guided a couple, and it was private guiding. It came up literally out of nowhere. I was recommended by someone, and they arrived in Israel on the second day of Rosh Hashanah, and they were staying at a hotel in the Christian Quarter, and they went immediately hotel to the Western Wall. And the one thing that they noticed is very few shofarot.
Hmm.
They expected every Jew that would be there would be two way out in the shofar.
Hmm.
So I explained that it's not done that way here. There will be a person in the Beit Knesset, in the synagogue, that will blow the shofar in the required, sounds again. Okay. And they just couldn't believe it. But what was also interesting is these are the same people that I took Harabayat to the Temple Mount. And as we're on the wooden bridge overlooking the Western Wall, this now would have been the day after Rosh Hashanah.
Hmm.
They saw all the Jewish men and women praying, and they said to me, "Wow, they must have a lot of sins." I said, "Excuse me?" Yeah, because aren't they praying about their sins? No, we have three daily services. This is the morning service every single day of the year and has nothing to do with sins. And they're looking at me as if to say, "Oh, I guess you really don't know." But anyway, neither
Well,
here nor there.
what's funny, Hanok, is Kathy's mom of blessed memory. We were in a Nazarene church back many years ago, and there was an altar call usually twice every service, and Kathy's mom was a very wonderful, very simple lady. And she would see people go to the altar every week. And she looked at Kathy one day and she says, I just don't know how much sin they can have.
There's something very sweet about that, though. They're
Yeah.
really very sweet.
Yeah,
Okay,
it is. It
so
is.
so of course, the shofar is only blown in the Beit Knesset, in the synagogue, on Rosh Hashanah. So what about everyone else? Well, there is an organization in Israel that has volunteers during set times on the second day of Rosh Hashanah, because we do not blow it on Shabbat.
Yeah.
We do not use any kind of musical
Yeah.
sounding instrument on Shabbat since the temple has been destroyed. Anyway, in the afternoon, in public parks, for instance, here in Modi'in, there are volunteers that will go out, say the brachot, say the blessings, and blow the shofar for all of those people who, for whatever reason, didn't go to the Beit Knesset, didn't go to the synagogue, people who don't identify as religious. So this way, everyone gets to share in that,
Yeah.
which is nice. It's also the concept in many neighborhoods of what's called what in English would be basically translated as raising the glass. On Rosh Hashanah, someone in the neighborhood, for instance, in the park right across from where I live, someone went, set up a table, brought out wine, someone else brought out apples, someone else brought out honey, and this way people could meet and share in that. There's also the custom, youth groups throughout Israel bring bouquets of flowers to elderly Holocaust survivors
Ah,
throughout the country.
wow.
It's really, really, and it's like moments like that where you say, if we could just get our heads out of the dirt, we could be the greatest society
Yeah.
in the history of the world.
Yeah.
And that, of course, leads me to the next thing. So, what's the big news item? The big news item is that American Jews using Rosh Hashanah in Reform congregations, they call them temples, they're certainly not synagogues, have called upon American Jews to protest the Israeli government because of the proposed judicial reform. Now, I'm saying this very calmly, although I don't know if you can see I'm wearing a
Yeah.
shirt that
Yeah.
says,
Yeah.
when the time comes, there will not be enough people left to bury the dead. So yeah, I'm in a very calm place right now
On the
and
outside.
on the outside. And I have to tell you, when Jews in America, or else in the world, have their sons and daughters and grandchildren serving in the IDF, and when these Jews from around the world pay the level of taxes that I pay, they'll have a right to say what the government of Israel should
Yeah.
do or
True.
shouldn't. Otherwise, they're creating what's called a Chilul Hashem, which is a desecration of Hashem's name. Standing there with Israeli flags, criticizing the government of Israel. I did not vote for any of the parties in the coalition running Israel, but they are the duly elected government. And how dare you if you're not a citizen? I mean, that's why, except for an occasional joke, I'll seriously sit down and discuss the American government. Although an American citizen, I do not vote in American elections because I'm not a resident. I don't have skin in the game in the US, and it wouldn't be fair for me. I've asked the IRS if they would give me a discount on my taxes because of that, and they said no. By the way, a cute thing, I saw this the other day. A new way of dieting is that adults should not eat more calories than the numbers of the year. So that would be 2023 calories, which for most adults, men certainly, is not a lot. That would be a diet. However, remember, I'm Jewish. So for me, the year is 784,
Yeah.
almost 6,000 calories.
I was
That's a
thinking that.
lot.
Yeah.
That's an awful lot. So yeah, we're not going to follow that. Okay, what else is going on? Saudi Arabia got all upset because of the Jews that stormed Al Aqsa on Rosh Hashanah,
Mm.
the second day of Rosh Hashanah. First day they didn't go up because of Shabbat. Anyway, what does that mean, storm Al Aqsa? For a Jew to walk on the Temple Mount, anywhere on the Temple Mount, is always referred to in the Arab press as storming Al
Yeah.
Aqsa.
Yeah.
So I was very thrilled the day of Rosh Hashanah that I was able to go up to the Harabaya, to the Temple Mount, with this couple, and I was able to storm it, which is just like so bizarre. So Saudi Arabia. Now, meanwhile, Netanyahu is in America right now, and he's meeting Biden in New York City. See, we are not in favor in the American government right now. We're out of favor.
Yeah. Total.
We're bad Jews.
Total.
We're bad Jews. And Biden has come out very clearly for this normalization with Saudi Arabia and all the other Arab Muslim countries, and of course also calling for the creation of a Palestinian state, which the American government seems more serious about now than at any time in my lifetime that I can remember. We're going to hit on lots of data points. Of course, Sunday night is Yom Kippur, and it is exactly 50 years since Syria and Egypt attacked us
Yeah.
on the Yom Kippur War. The Yom Kippur War for me was the seminal event in my adult life. I had just come back from 7 weeks on a youth tour to Israel. Had no interest whatsoever in moving to Israel. I was not at all religiously observant. And it was the Yom Kippur War that galvanized me to get involved in Jewish activism. And essentially, where I am today and who I am today can stem right from that series of events, kind of a domino effect, one thing that triggered another. So what's going on with them, we really don't know. Meanwhile, Iran has thrown out nuclear inspectors, and the world is kind of like, what do we do? But of course, meanwhile, American Secretary of State Blinken, I was about to say Biden, Freudian slip, has just authorized $6 billion of funds that had been in escrow, frozen, to be released to the Iranians to free some, political prisoners, whatever that nonsense is. The world has gone insane.
But
And
Hanok, I don't know if you read it, but that money's only to be used for humanitarian needs.
Right, which is the same reason that all the funds from the European Union and the American government that go to those poor people in Gaza somehow wind up being used for cement and infrastructure for terror tunnels. But that's the humanitarian terror tunnels,
That's
which is
true.
just a thing.
It's just a matter of wording,
Insane. So this is the Aseret Yemei Tshuva. This is the 10 days of tshuva, the 10 days of turning or returning. This is the time when people should really be doing the personal accounting. Where do I stand in all of this? What is it that I'm doing? What are the things that I did this year that are really good and I should continue? And what are the things that I should just kind of, remove from my life and lifestyle? It's a tremendous period of introspection. But most people don't really want to go down that road.
Well, I was thinking about this morning. Let me write a note down because I'm going to be talking with Barry about this a little bit more in just a few minutes. I just was this morning early, was thinking about this with Yom Kippur, that I think a theme, and I've got numerous themes going on, I think, for this year. But one of the things that I think that would be an interesting endeavor this Yom Kippur was to ask Hashem, how do you see me? Not how I see me, but how does he see me?
That's the element of performance appraisal.
Yeah.
That I always talk about, because that's the real thing. Most people are very generous in their opinions of themselves. Someone writes a $20 check, mails it off to an organization, and thinks that, basically I just sacrificed, 2 hot dogs and a cup of coffee. And, look how good I am.
Yeah.
When in reality, everyone who's involved in a congregation anywhere in the world will tell you what a struggle it is to gain the support on an ongoing basis of people.
Yeah.
But people still think of themselves as doing fabulously well in everything. So it's really, you're right. Absolutely right.
I think there's that side, and another thing that I've been teaching in the previous weeks regarding Yom Kippur is, there's this place of coming before him on Yom Kippur with this attitude of how bad I am instead of how good he is. Um, you
It's an
know,
interesting approach.
yeah, just
It
a
really
different
is.
way of, it's like your children coming to you, and every time they come to you, they're, oh, I'm sorry I didn't put the toothpaste back in the drawer, and I'm sorry I didn't do this. Or, rah, 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 it's just continue. After a little while, you're going to go, uh, how about getting over yourself for a little bit? And let's develop this relationship at a different level. Our relationship is more than just where you put the toothpaste tube back.
Very, very much so. Very much
Yeah,
so.
yeah,
And it's interesting, like before we went on, you mentioned that you and a number of all the, lovely people in and around Franklin, North Carolina, that we cherish the most, went to see this film Route 60,
yeah. We had
which
two
is
rows full, by the way. We had two rows, and
amazing.
just as a note here, Honok, I haven't told you. Franklin is not known during the week for having a lot of people in the theater. In fact, Kathy and I have been there a number of times in which, we're like the only ones there, or there's two other people in the whole thing. The Franklin Theater is I think there's four different ones, something like that. I don't know much about theaters, but it's not huge by any means. It was close to full. I mean, it was packed, and
Amazing.
the problem is most of the people that were there were older, um, but there was a lot of people there. So go ahead.
Fabulous. That's fabulous. So for those of our listeners who aren't familiar with it, Route 60, I don't know who made the film.
TBN,
Uh,
Trinity Broadcasting Network,
okay,
and
interesting.
that
So
and that says a lot right there.
okay, so it is a pro Israel piece. It purports to be very pro Judea and Samaria,
Yeah,
which the world mislabels the West Bank. It has two co-hosts who dialogue throughout: Mike Pompeo,
yeah,
former U.S. Secretary of State, and David Friedman, former U.S. Ambassador to Israel. And I, who am thrilled to see anything that isn't vehemently anti-Israel,
yeah,
I actually got to preview the movie. I was asked by Pastor Paul Pickering, who has an organization called All Pro Pastors, which is actually a worldwide organization. I had the opportunity to meet him a number of times over the years in Brandon, Florida, and he asked me to do him a favor, review the film. This is back when I was in America, so we're talking about the July-August timeframe, and write up study questions or discussion questions that could be used within Christian congregations who would be viewing the film.
hmm,
And for me, it was a fascinating project. I have no idea where this is going to go. Although he was thrilled with what I had created. I grimaced a number of places in the movie, as I am certain you and our dear friends from Life Assembly did as well, um, because it is kind of like, it's incredibly pro Donald Trump. It is incredibly pro Accords. And it really gives you the feeling that we've kind of turned the corner here, and Muslims, Jews, Christians are all living together, splendidly happy
yeah,
here in Eretz Yisrael, the land of Israel, Medinat Yisrael, the state of Israel. And that's not actually the way things play out. Um, Although we get along fine with the Christians.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
It's the rest of the group
Yeah, it's the
that
cousins.
necessarily toe the line.
Yeah, I found it extremely politically correct. Of course, and for me to go to a movie like that is very difficult. Kathy doesn't like to go with me. She said, we need to go and we need to see this. I said, yeah, I know. Because just my personality, I begin to go, that's wrong. That's, fact check, fact check, fact check. And I ran out of fingers and toes in about the first 10 minutes of counting. Very much a commercial for Pompeo and Friedman of how wonderful they are. I do not see either one of them as biblical scholars. Um, I found their explanations very, very shallow of a lot of things. They lacked the depth. There were many things that were placed in there of it's the this wall, this security wall. Well, no Israeli wants this. Yeah, the reason that there hasn't been as much any more terrorism that there's been is because of this wall. There were just numerous things, and of course, my problems with Nazareth and with the Church of the Unholy Sepulchre and places like that. It was the dripping religious thing. So hey, my kudos to them, and maybe it will go into something else. And when I saw that it was produced by TBN, I knew where it was going. But is it worth going to see? I think so. I
I
personally
agree.
for
Absolutely.
Yeah, personally for me and Kathy, it was I think one of the greatest things about it for us is that over and over and over again, probably the of course the most photographed place in the movie was the Western Wall, but the second most photographed place, did you notice this? No?
Again, you have to remember, I didn't sit down and watch the movie from start to finish.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
would do a segment, 2 minutes, stop, make a note saying,
Okay.
with 2 minutes, 1 second, mention Nazareth, Jesus, etc., etc.
Okay.
And then I would come up with study questions.
Okay. Well,
So,
let me give you
and
the
I saw it 2 months ago.
let me give you the second most photographed in the or the most run picture in the whole movie was the Daniel Catesby tree on Elon Moray, and they didn't even mention them.
Well, it to we part of it, we should share the blame. We needed to have put up a plaque indicating that this tree at a lawn moray, you know, what can I say? Maybe I'll do that when I'm at Mount Kabir next.
Maybe we could make a plaque up and take it and nail it to the side of the tree. That'd be an idea, huh?
Hey, listen, I'm sure it's been done before.
Yeah, it'd be taken down. So for those that don't know, my son Daniel um, proposed to his wife Catesby under that tree at Elon Moray. So when you look at that, if you go see the movie, and there's the that building right there, and there's a tree that's just to the north of it, a large shade tree. I don't remember what kind it is, but he proposed to his wife right there. So that's just a special place. It is part of the Connect to Israel tour, which, by the way, Hanok, this week we're within 45 days of Connect to Israel number. How many times have we been over there together?
Well, let's see. 2014, 15, 16, 17, we had 2 tours. So that's 5. 18, 19 is 7. This past year, 8. This will be our 9th tour.
Wow. And both of us have lived through it.
Absolutely. We managed.
Yes, we have. Hey, I saw a brief article that there is a discussion regarding the carrying of guns on Yom Kippur. Did you see that?
Yeah, our national police have suggested, because there's a heightened terror alert during the Chagim, during the holidays, that those who are licensed to carry weapons and are trained and prepared to use them should make sure to have them with them.
Yeah, yeah.
And this year, for the very first time, every Beit Knesset, every synagogue in Jerusalem had an armed guard in front.
Wow.
Every synagogue. It never happened before.
Yeah. Well, and people say, "Well, I'd be afraid." No, that actually is a positive thing because
Absolutely.
someone who has plans of terrorism is going to look and go, "Wait a minute, maybe I need to put this off for put it off forever or something." I don't know, but okay. Well, anything else on the agenda there? You're off for a
Lots
couple days.
going
You
on.
got
No,
well,
I'm my knee, ankle, plantar fasciitis, swelling, whatever it is not getting better. Probably doing 9-hour walking tours in Jerusalem is not helping it.
yeah,
Um, the other thing that's interesting going on, just telling people, it's starting little tiny bits to get a little cooler here, and they're actually forecasting the possible rain showers over the next week or so. So that would be great. Our summer is incredibly long,
yeah.
very difficult. Not as bad as it was in Houston, Texas, but it's bad.
Well, just to give you an idea, we woke up this morning to, I think it was 49 degrees. So,
Wow.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I guess it's time for me to come back to Franklin.
there you go. All right. Well, hey, take
All right,
care.
Mike.
May your Yom Kippur be a very enriching time, and
Yeah,
we will.
have a meaningful one, and may it be the symbol and starting point of a fabulous year.
I'll agree with you there. All right, take care.
All right, man. See ya.